Scott Wetzel is not for everyone. For instance, sane people who can easily tell right from wrong or strongly urge to change the channel. Doctors Radio declared listening to Scott Wetzel can be hazardous to your health and can cause sickness, strokes, or wanting to take long walks on short piers. Feelings of agitation, dizziness, depression, frustration, and cold sweats are common when listening to Scott. You can have a bad reaction, such as confusion, redness in the face, teeth clenching, fist pounding, wanting to put a fork in your eye, and feeling the need to throw your radio out the window. Listeners have also reported increased swearing, trouble sleeping, and a strong desire to gamble. Truckers and drivers are urged to stay away. Learn from Jack from Arkansas. As for women, don't even think about it.
Oh no, my nipples clearly got erect.
You've been warned. Now, here's your host, Scott Wetzel.
Welcome, LLs, LWs, to the Scott Wetzel Show on this wonderful Wednesday afternoon. Yours truly sitting in for the next probably 2 hours or so, hour 45 minutes or so, talking the world of sports. We got baseball, football, basketball, soccer, you name it, we have it over the next 90 to 100 minutes or so. What are we specifically going to talk about? How about the Red Sox off and running again today? Little day-night doubleheader with the Orioles. Who to root for in baseball? Baseball players are just dumb, fundamentally flawed in Philadelphia. That takes balls with Oakland. You want to play in the World Cup? Not after I show you what I'm about to show you. True or false with the LeBron James updates. Family matters, apparently, and the Rodgers family. That takes bites. And our 3-league round-robin championship parlay we got to put with the boys in Vegas in today. All that, plus former Sports Grid host and a friend of mine, Joe Madden, will join us around 3:30 or so Eastern time, talking the world of sports as well. So busy hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes or so right here on fanstreamsports.com, fanstreamsports.com. Yes, I decided, Red Sox were off yesterday, so their 14-game winning streak was fast forwarded to today, day-night doubleheader. So I decided I'm going to wear the Red Sox jersey until they lose. Now, I'm kind of jumping on this a little late. I am. I admit that. How many more games in a row are they going to win? But for all intents and purposes, this jersey is staying on until they lose. And they're already up 4-0, second inning in Boston today. Game number 1, like I said, of their day-night doubleheader with Baltimore, scoring 4 in the bottom of the first. I mean, this team is just amazing. I've been a Red Sox fan for a long time, and I've been through the wars, and I remember the 86 World Series. Listen, I'll date myself. I remember the 75 World Series against the Cincinnati Reds, little kid, but I remember it well. I really do. I've been through the pain of all those struggles. We've had some joys, the Big Papi years. We won our World Series. We certainly have, but this is as I don't want to say optimistic, but bewildered of a team that I think I remember it in the 35, 40 years of watching this club, right? They were so bad. Now they're so good. And you can hear it with the announcers. They're all like mystified. They're all kind of like laughing under their breath. Like, this team is amazing. They just don't lose. Then watch them blow a 4-0 lead, right? So, but they're just playing great baseball. I don't know if it's Chad Tracy, the new skipper. I really kind of doubt that. Nothing against him, but I was an Alex Cora guy. So I do think they would have just eventually turned it around for whatever reason. It took them 2 months, 2.5 months of baseball to finally get everything working, and it is. So 4-0 already. Red Sox lead day 1 of a day-night doubleheader with Baltimore. So we'll keep you posted on that. Covers.com, great website. I like it a lot. Came up with this number, and I guess all they did was go back to the closing line. So it could be off a couple of dollars. But the bottom line is they said, if you bet $100 on the Red Sox to start this 14-game winning streak and just rolled it over, doubled it, like we're going to do, one of these days, one of these slow days, I'll explain how you don't have to be in Vegas to get in these monster survivor pools, because we have a way of doing it where you could do it from your home. And you can even kind of break the rules a little bit, and you're still going to win millions of dollars. We'll explain that. But this is basically what they're doing. They're just taking $100, betting on the Red Sox. You win $100, okay. Now you got $200, right? Now you bet $200 the next day, and now you got $400. Then you bet $400 the next day. Now you got $800, and then $1,600, and $3,200, and so on and so on forth, right? So if you did that with Boston's 14-game win streak, you'd be up about $575,000. I mean, that's pretty good, right? But, as I pointed out on the podcast today, who would really do that, right? If you're $100, you could be the biggest Red Sox fan in the world. Realistically, there's just no way in the world you would do that. It would just take so much, you'd be betting to lose. They're not going to win 65 in a row, right? So when do you stop? And I kind of pegged it at maybe 1,600. You win one, okay, you win $100. You say, what the fudge? I'll roll it over. I'll bet 200 tomorrow. Then you win 200. Now you're up 400. That's a 2-game win streak. I'll do it one more time. And now you win again. Now you're up $800 on your $100 bet. And you're like, well, this is pretty good. You know what? I like that. Let's do it one more time. Then you win another $800. Now you're up to $1,600. As a $100 better 4-game win streak, you probably would jump off then, realistically. We all like to think we would roll it over. And then let's just say you do this, because there was a year I tried doing this. I started real small, picked a number of teams, and I just told myself, I'm hoping, they're really good teams, obviously, Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox in their heyday. And I would just say, I'm going to bank on them winning 7 in a row, 6-7 in a row. And no matter what it is, I'm just going to roll it over, right? No matter who's pitching, where they're playing, who they're playing, whatever. So, all right, so say you're up to 3,200 now after 4 wins, right? Was it 100 to 200, 400, 800, 1,600. 1,600 after 4 wins. Now you roll it over one more time. Now you're up to $3,200 after 5 wins. That's realistically, that's when, if you didn't do it at 1,600, I really doubt you'd bet $3,200 on the Red Sox to win 6 in a row. I really, and maybe there's a small percentage of you, the diehard rich Red Sox fan, that says, yep, I'm going to keep this thing going, and you do it one more time and they win again. Now you're up to $6,400. Give or take the vig and that sort of thing, right? I really doubt you'd roll it over, because you're just basically waiting to lose. Like you could have rolled it over today, and then let's say they win game 1, and then you roll it over into game 2. I mean, you got to have some jump off point. Otherwise, you're just tempting fate. I mean, again, they're not going to go 65-0 the rest of the way. So when would the average person do it? I'm thinking after 4 games. I could turn $100 into $1,600. That's a pretty good, in 4 days, literally, that's a pretty good return, right? So, but if there was some guy that just said, what the fudge, I'm a Red Sox fan and I'm going to do this the whole year, it's not a bad strategy. I wouldn't necessarily have done it with the Red Sox this year, but I could see you doing it with the Dodgers this year and saying, you know what, somewhere along the line, the Dodgers, as great as they are going to have a 10-game win streak. Pick a number, 10 game. Realistically, probably be around 10 games. And I'm just going to roll it over. Now, you're going to be laying odds. With the Red Sox, at least you're either getting odds or it was pick 'em. Dodgers, would be in 2-1 favorites basically every other game. You wouldn't be up as much as you would with the Red Sox or any other team. But, realistically, that's where it would be. 4, maybe 5 games. You take your $3,000 and walk home for a $100 bet. So 4-0 Red Sox batting in the bottom of the second. Boy, we looked at their schedule, right? Their schedule is pretty darn easy. We told you that the other day. Baltimore, they got a 3-game set with Toronto coming up next. You got the A's on there. You do have a 3-game set with the Dodgers, but then it goes back to be playing Toronto again. And I think they got another series against Baltimore. It really is, over the next 2-3 weeks, up until the trade deadline, a really easy, manageable schedule. So this thing could roll, I mean, listen, the same team that lost 2 out of 3 to Washington at home, that lost 2 out of 3 to Colorado in Colorado. So you can't, say automatically that's going to be a win. It's not like football. Any team can beat any team in baseball. But like you said yesterday, you go 8-4 over the next 12. We looked at the schedules. Here's the next 12 games. If they could go 8-4, then that proves to me that they are more than just a fluky good run. And like I said yesterday, as strange as it sounds, I'd almost rather have them lose a game or 2 and then come back with some more wins and then show me that this team is not just this great run, because the run's going to end. What do they do after the great run? So 4-0 Red Sox on top. Yesterday, I don't know if you saw it in Philadelphia. We're on the Phillies. The Red Sox got rained out and dopey Milwaukee, right? So Milwaukee decides they're going to lose to the New York Mets at home. All right, it is what it is. So Philadelphia up 1-0 against the Dodgers, gives up a 2-run homer, Max Muncy. Dodgers take a 2-1 lead. Bottom of the ninth inning, Philadelphia puts 2 runners on. So they got a chance to, with 1 out, at worst, right? At worst, tie the game. You think it's sac fly, ground out, something along those lines, right? This is just an example, not to make fun of JT Realmuto and the Philadelphia Phillies, but this is just an example of how bad baseball is fundamentally nowadays. So here's what happened. Runners on second and third, bottom of the ninth, 1 out, Phillies batting.
Off the hands, over to third. Oh, they got Crawford caught.
Well, it doesn't matter. Oh, no, JT.
Oh, JT's in trouble now. JT is
what are you doing?
Out at second base.
What
base
are you
running
doing?
blunder by the Phils on a couple levels. They'll look at this, but this is most likely going to end the game.
It did.
The Dodgers will win it by a final score of 2-1.
What in the world? Take a look at Realmuto, right? So I understand the runner on third base, why he's going. It's probably a contact play, 1 out. If there were no outs, you'd make sure the ball got through the infield. But with 1 out, you'd go ahead and make them make a play, right? So I understand why the runner from third is going in. Realmuto's on second base. He's got the play in front of him. He knows, I think he knows there's 1 out. He knows the base runner on third is on a contact play, which means he's going to third base. So if I'm on second base, I'm saying to myself, as soon as that ball hits the ground, I'm going to third. That's my goal. No matter what happens to the runner on third base, my job is to get to third base and let the runner on third try and get into a pickle or whatever and try and get home. But he's got the play right in front of him.
Off the hands, over to third.
There he is, running down to third base. He pauses. He gets on the bag. He's standing on the bag. What are you doing?
JT's in trouble now. JT is out at second base. A base running blunder by the Phils on a couple levels.
You're right about that, brother. You are right about that. I mean, Realmuto, he's a veteran player. Been in the league, 8, 9, 10 years in Miami, and then with the Phillies for the last 4 or 5 years. Veteran player, should know what the hell's going on. We're not talking about a first-year, second-year player. The game's on the line. It's the ninth inning. It's not the third inning. You're not paying attention. You don't know how many outs there are in the bottom of the ninth inning against the Dodgers, no less. I don't know. I don't understand that. These plays are so just fundamentally flawed. I don't want to say dumb, but they're dumb. They're dumb. They're so fundamentally flawed. They don't know how to run a rundown play. They don't know how to run bases. Just brutal. Just brutal. So instead of us having runner on third, maybe first and third with 2 out, and in the middle of the order up, I'm not sure who was up next, but basically the middle of the order up, having one more crack at it, the game ends and the Phillies lose 2-1 and we lose our bets. It's one of those plays that if you're a bettor, as we are, you'd say, boy, I want to check Realmuto's bank account after this game, right? But realistically, he wouldn't have gotten a double. If he knew that he had to lose the game, he wouldn't have doubled the run to third base. So it's not that. I think I'd have more respect if it was that than just plain stupidity for a guy who's been in the league 10 years. Brutal. Then you got the poor sap. I say Oakland, it's the A's, right? A's are in Arizona, so it's not even really Oakland. So I don't know if you saw this play, but yikes, does this hurt?
Kuroda Grauer swings on the first pitch and fouls it off of himself. He's still down. That might have caught him on the inner leg, maybe even higher. What do you see here, Dallas?
Well, yeah, that'll hurt.
And he's still down.
Yeah, I don't know that that's much an ice pack can take care of.
Don't really know what the protocol for this would be.
Catch your breath.
Announcers are pretty funny.
He's on his feet now.
Listen to the announcer here. Coming up in a second.
He's going to put the helmet on, grab the baseball bat, maybe a few dry swings. And it looks like he will come up with no balls and 1 strike. Runner going, Kuroda Grauer lines it into right center, a base hit. Butler to third. And a multi-hit affair for Joshua Kuroda Grauer. Well, he got bruised and then bruises that baseball.
Joshua Kuroda, I never heard of the dude, right? How about the announcers, getting up the bat with no balls and 1 strike, you're hearing a little quirk there in the background. They actually did a pretty, they were pretty good. I like that. But the poor dude, man, got hit just right in the nuts. I mean, just right. And as it turned out, the dude had to go to the hospital. I don't know if he left after that inning or after the game, but his nutsack apparently got all smashed. It was bleeding and everything else. The dude's still batting after he got hit in the balls. He actually finished his at-bat and got a base hit. I mean, now that's tough. Yeah, we talked about baseball players being dumb, fundamentally flawed in Philadelphia. That takes balls with the A's. As simple as that. You give that dude a lot of credit. I played a lot of baseball. Baseball was my best sport playing. I think I liked basketball the best, but I was the best at baseball. So that's never happened to me. Never. Having a ball just ricochet, whether it's off the ground or something like that, and right into the lower inner leg. Could be even higher than that, I think, as the announcer said. That must hurt. That must absolutely just wow. And for that dude to get back into the batter's box and actually get a base hit, give that guy a lot of credit, right? A lot of credit. So, we got the baseball thing. And since we're talking baseball, might as well bring that up before we get to LeBron and some football notes. So these baseball players are dumb. They really are. So they are going back and forth with the owners, right? We're going to have a lockout or strike, whatever you want to call. We're not, most people think, although I don't believe this, but most people think there's going to be, the end of the season, there's going to be a strike/lockout. No baseball to start 2027 because the players' collective bargaining agreement with the league expires this season, after the season. So they got back and forth. The main issue, when everything is said and done, the main issue is the salary cap, whether we're going to have a salary cap or not, right? But there are other issues that do have to be resolved. So one of them is the draft. The owners came up with a proposal this week. There's 20 rounds to a draft. They want to cut that to 12. And you know what? You don't need 20 players. I mean, think about that. That's 20 new players every single year. Most teams only have 3, maybe 4. I don't know if anyone realistically has 5 anymore. There were a lot of teams that used to have like 2 or 3 single A teams. They might still have that, but realistically, 3 or 4, maybe 5 teams, right? You can't keep on putting 20 new players into that system. There's no room. We don't need them. We're already stocked already with 50,000 players. I don't need 20 more. Hell, I don't even need 12 more, to tell you the truth. I probably realistically need about 5 or 6 more. And then if I want to sign other players, then I sign other players. That's all. They don't have to necessarily be drafted, right? So it makes sense. And then they want to make sure that, they want to have the older guys be eligible to play. So they want to eliminate high school players from being drafted. And I guess if you didn't go to college, you'd have to go to a minor league system, an independent league like they have here on Long Island, or just wait until you turn 20 years old, 19 years old, whatever age they agree upon, right? Football has an age. Basketball has an age limit. So why not Major League Baseball, right? So it all makes sense. And no big deal, you would think. But the Dopey Players Association is fighting for a draft. Keep the 20 Browns. Keep it where not only do you have high school, but you do have high school kids. You have college kids. They wanted to also make it where you had to be at least a junior in college in order to be drafted. No, they want to lower it down to be a sophomore and be eligible to draft. So baseball players are making arguments to bring more people into the league, which really is dumb to begin with because you're just taking away jobs from people that are in your union. There is a limit. This is not like a business where you could just add on as many people as you want. Every team, 25 players, 26 players. So, for the more you bring in, the more you're kicking out. But the kicker to it all is Players Association wants to maintain a system where the signing bonus pools grow with the industry revenues. Like, for instance, this year they spent $358.7 million in signing bonuses for these draftees. That was up from 350.4 from 2 years ago, or last year, 2025. That's $358+ million for players who haven't played a second in the majors, who, quite frankly, might never play in the majors. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Why would you want, as an association, to pay people who aren't even in the league more money, literally, than what some of your players make? You know, this happened in the NFL. What was it, like 15 years ago? And they finally, I think the Sam Bradford draft was the last draft where they said, that's it, we can't do this anymore. We can't have the Sam Bradfords of the world, who may be good players, but haven't played a second in the NFL, making $40 million a year. Can't have it. Can't do it. So we got to set up a system where if you're a first-round pick, this is how much you make. If you're the second person drafted, this is how much you make. Third, fourth, fifth, and then we still have that now. Now the prices have gone up, but it's a slotted thing. That's why you don't have really that many holdouts anymore. You tweak some things here and there, but the money, the main issue is it's in your face. This is what it is. Sorry. This is how much you made. Or this is where you were drafted, and we have an open, $2 million window, and then that's how much you can make. Those are the rules. So if the NFL can do that, and the NBA does that, why would baseball players be arguing for high school kids and college kids to be making more money? I looked it up on a podcast we did today. We went back 4 years. I think 4 years is a pretty good sample size of, okay, when you're drafted, you're going to spend a year or two. Not everybody is Paul Skeens and then all these other great players, right? You're going to spend a couple of years in the minors. So if you haven't made it in 4 years, after 4 years in the minors, yeah, you're probably not going to make it, right? Maybe, but more than likely, that's it. So we went back to the 2022 MLB draft. We counted 5 guys. I say me. I counted 5 guys that I recognized that played Major League Baseball. 5 out of 30. And actually, there were like 8 supplementary picks. So there were about 38 first-round picks. 5 guys, and none are superstars. Now, that just maybe that was the year, bad year. But 5. And you know how much money was spent on these guys? The lowest guy, and this was in the supplementary draft of the extra first-round picks, $1.7 million. Out of the initial 30 first-round picks, the lowest was over $2.5 million. The highest was over $8.5 million. All going to players that haven't even played a second in the major leagues. And the Dopey Players Association wants to continue that. Well, instead of paying $359 million to a bunch of nobody's Players Association, why don't you have this salary structure and say that extra, hell, I would make it $60 million. That's it. They're $2 million a player. And you want to, figure it out which guy gets more. But on average, 31st round draft choices, on average, $2 million a player. That's it. And I'll take that extra $300 million and put it into our salary cap for the players that are actually playing, for the guys that have been in the league 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and let those guys prosper. But the Players Association is arguing for players who are in high school to get all their money, $8 million, $7 million. There's a ton of guys in baseball that don't make that. It's so stupid. It really is just dumb. I don't know if this is just a negotiating, ploy. Okay, you want A, I want B, or I really want C, but I'll settle for B, so let's meet in the middle. Or, you know what? Okay, I want C, you want A, I'll give you A. You know what? Do it whatever you want, owners. That's what you really want, then go ahead. But because I'm giving you this, you got to give us something else. So then, listen, I know in negotiation that stuff happens all the time, but I'm just going to take it for its self-worth. They're saying they don't want that. They're saying they want more money to go to all these draftees. They want more draft players. It makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense. You want to screw over the real people that are in your union And you want to be able to give the high school kids and the college kids $1 gazillion before they step on a Major League Baseball field. Players are just so dumb. They really are just so dumb. And, I looked at this, and I do believe this. If you don't have a dog in a fight, right? Your team sucks. You're a New York Mets fan. You're a Washington Nationals fan. Although they're happily decent. You're a Colorado Rockies fan. Pick a team that's lousy, right? You don't have a dog in a fight. This is who you should be rooting for. Home run, Baltimore. All right, 4-1. Oh, no, foul ball. All right. It is 4-1 now. The owners should be rooting for the LA Dodgers to win the World Series. I'll tell you why in a second. The fans should be rooting for the LA Dodgers to win the World Series. The players need anybody but the Dodgers, Stankies, Red Sox, and I'll throw in Phillies to win the World Series. That realistically have a chance. The Mets would be in there, but we know that's not going to happen. Why is that the case, Scott? Well, the owners want change, right? They want a salary cap. They want a hard cap. The system doesn't work. It's not fair. We're spending too much money, blah, 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 blah. We need to lower these salaries. We want a cap, right? What's the best way for them to get a cap? To have the Dodgers win. Why is that? Because if the Dodgers, with the highest payroll in baseball, next to the Mets, with all this deferred money, they have the highest. If they win, then fans will be yelling and screaming. The system is flawed. Dodgers win their third straight. They're just outspending people. They're getting every good player. They don't care about salary. It's not fair. I'm rooting for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm rooting for the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm rooting for the Arizona Diamondbacks. We can't afford our players. We're losing our players, blah, 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 right? So that would spark change. And that's why the fans should be on the owner side of this as well. I think most fans want a salary cap because there's only so many Yankee, Red Sox, Philly, and Dodger fans and Met fans. There's a whole slew of fans out there of teams that just can't afford, whether you're the Guardian fan or the Miami Marlins fan or whatever the case may be. So they want change. They want rules that will even the score. So they need the Dodgers to win. The players, though, need anybody but the Dodgers, Yankees, Red Sox, and Phillies to win. Why? Because if they can go to the public and to the owners, but really to the public, and say, listen, Cleveland Guardians won the World Series. They got the 5th lowest payroll in baseball. Milwaukee Brewers won the World Series. They got the 6th lowest payroll in baseball. I got the Miami Marlins making the playoffs, lowest payoff in baseball. Tampa Bay making the playoffs, lowest payroll, 2nd lowest payroll, or whatever it is in baseball. And that will, kind of stem the tide a little bit about how there needs to be change. If they could just say, well, listen, if it needs to be changed because it's ruining baseball, then why are the Brewers winning the World Series? Why are all these 4, 5, 6 teams, low salary teams, making the playoffs? We don't need change. It's all about getting the fans on your side. And if the fans side with the owners because the Dodgers keep on winning, that's not a good look for the players. If the fans side with the players and say, no, you know what, we really don't need change, not a good look for the owners. And fan sentiment, yes, it really, really, really does matter. And overall, it's not a good look for baseball to have a lockout. That's that extra little chip that's really being held against both sides is, times are tough nowadays. We're all paying $4. By the way, don't ever go to BP gas. I'll tell you in a second. What a bunch of ripoffs they are. So, gas prices being $4 now, grocery store prices being through the roof, salaries being cut, people losing their jobs. We don't want to hear about multi-millionaires going on strike because they're not making enough millions. That is just a bad, bad, bad look for everybody. So that's why I think the outcome of this World Series will really dictate who wins this little negotiating thing. Again, Dodgers win, then the owners have the upper hand saying we can't have this. They're just going to outspend everybody and there's going to be no baseball. And I think that would prompt the players to say, all right, you know what, we'll I don't know if there's going to be a hard cap, but there'll be a somewhat of a cap. And then if anyone else wins, then the players can sit there and say, no, we don't need change. And it's going to be hard for the owners to sell that to the public that we need change when we got the low price Cleveland Guardians winning the World Series against the Milwaukee Brewers. So But ultimately, both sides can't have a strike, lockout, whatever you want to call it. You just can't have that. That would just be turning people up tremendously. And that's why I don't think ultimately there will. And I do think the players will win. If it means, Red Sox threatening for some more. If it means like who wins based on do you have a salary cap or not, I think the players will win. I don't think we'll have a soft cap. They kind of have a soft cap now. They really do. It allows the bigger teams to spend money, and it keeps the smaller teams in play. I mean, I don't think it's a bad system right now. I know it's the softest cap in all the four major sports, but it is true that the Dodgers aren't like hands down so much better than everybody else. They damn near lost the World Series last year to Toronto. Who doesn't spend? Red Sox spend, Yankees spend, Toronto spends, Atlanta spends, Mets spend, Phillies spend, Cubs spend, Dodgers, obviously, San Diego, San Francisco's willing to spend. There's only a handful of teams that really don't spend, and I don't think you're going to change the rules in lockout baseball based on the Las Vegas. The Las Vegas A's will probably end up spending with all the money they should be getting. We're not going to upset the apple cart for the Minnesota Twins and the Pittsburgh Pirates of the world. We're just not going to do it. So I don't think we're going to get a lockdown. I really don't. So, but that's if you want to have a rooting interest and you don't have one right now, that's who you root for. Believe it or not, as painful as it is to root for the Dodgers, I understand that. I really do. But that's the one where the whole public would really get into like, this is just bad. This is, and maybe even the players would realize that. The player may go to the Dodgers. If you believe in conspiracies, the players could easily go to the Dodgers and say, listen, this Wetzel dude, he's a dope, but he's right about this. If you guys win again for the third straight year, fans start losing interest because they can't compete against you guys. We need you guys to lose. Somewhere along the line, you got to lose. This might be the year. Red Sox up 5-1. Oh, they're not losing. They're not losing anytime soon. Amazing. All right, 33 past the hour. Quick little break. We'll come back. We got some football stuff to get to. We got our 3-team championship parlay. And you want to be a soccer player, huh? Play in the 2034 World Cup? Not after I show you the picture I'll show you. I don't think so. All right, more coming up. FanStream Sports. It is the Scott Wetzel Show on a Wednesday afternoon.
Hi, golfers. IndyCar Tim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything. Turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there.
Hey folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Today's show is brought to you by Tomstown, a premier craft distillery based in Kansas City, Missouri. Discover their award-winning lineup, including double oaked bourbon, botanical gin, and double grain vodka, named the best craft vodka by the readers of USA Today. Available for online delivery in 40 states. Visit toms-town.com or their Kansas City distillery to explore more. Elevate your game with Tomstown, where history meets innovation. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hello, folks. Let's talk a little bit about turf life. And what is turf life? It's pretty much if your life involves turf in any way, shape, or form, you live the turf life. Go ahead and brand yourself with the turf life. Maybe a back window decal, maybe a hat. You know where you can get those kinds of things to showcase that your life revolves around sports and or anything that involves sports. If it's a sports business or sports education or just your enjoyment of the outdoors, head over to turflifeclub.com. Become a turf head. Join the club today. You can do that by going to that said website that I just told you to go to. You can snag your window decal like I was talking about, or any of your other turf life accessories. Show everybody that you live the turf life, and we'll see you there, over there at that turflifeclub.com.
Although it may seem tempting to go without healthcare insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505.
Orion Golf Management Solutions. Orion Management Solutions has tailored its service packages just like it tailors its approach to customers. Some owners need more supervision, while others need periodic assessment of their short-term and long-term strategies and programs. Orion can be called in to develop a business plan with the existing staff, or we can assist with the daily management of a facility or event. Either way, we make sure the client is satisfied and understands the direction the facility needs to go in order to achieve the owner's goals. Orion Management Solutions can help with owner assistance service solutions, daily course management, business plan development, monthly operations, or as-needed consulting services. Whatever your need, Orion Golf Management Solutions can help. Check out oriongolf.com.
Let's go!
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back. It is the Scott Wetzel Show right here on a Wednesday afternoon. Yours truly sitting in for another hour and a half or so. We got Joe Madden coming up in about an hour. We'll talk with her over a Sports Grid teammate of mine. Get some thoughts on the second half of the baseball season, a little NFL, a little bit of hockey, everything else going on. Jason Robertson signing a one-year, $11 million contract with the Dallas Stars. Interesting one-year contract for him. So how about some basketball news? Our proverbial LeBron James update. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with him. I know we're all sick of him, but we'll just every once in a while we'll throw something up there, right? So I thought his announcement was going to come yesterday or Monday. Didn't happen. I think throwing that little Adam Silver dopey comment about how the whole NBA world is waiting on him just spurred him to delay the process even more. However, if you're on YouTube, as we have a bunch of followers on YouTube right now, if you follow the Miami Heat's YouTube page yesterday, they had an announcement saying that LeBron James' press conference was going to be next Monday. Did you see that? Add to the stage. There we go. Oops, there we go. LeBron James introductory press conference, July 27th. Does it give a time? Let me lean in and look closer. I don't see a time, but they actually posted that on their Facebook or YouTube page, YouTube channel that they have, right? And it gives the time, or it gives the date, it gives the place, what it's about. LeBron James, introductory, right? He's coming to Miami, blah, 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 blah. So as it turned out, that was a mistake by their social media guy, who apparently actually got fired, or at least they're trying to replace him, because there was you can't really trust anything on Twitter these days. You really can't. There's so much AI stuff. There's so much phony stuff. Like there's one of a dude who's sitting in a pool. Did you see that one? He's on one of those high rises and he's sitting in the pool on his little balcony, 10 by 10 balcony, and the balcony falls apart and the pool goes over and he goes overboard, seemingly killing himself. But somehow or another, the shot doesn't show him landing on the ground, which chances are pretty good that's not real, right? So everything you see is not necessarily true on the internet anymore. Shocking, I understand that. But so one of them is that, they're hiring a replacement for this dude, whoever did this. But you can't sit there with a straight face and tell me this was an accident. I'm not telling you LeBron is signing. In fact, I think just the opposite, which I'll get to in a second. But you don't type in LeBron James. You don't type in introductory press conference. You don't type in July 27th. You don't type in, Monday and maybe the time and the details by accident. An accident is you think it's going to be July 20th and you write July 10th because you put a 1 instead of the 2, or you put a 4 instead of the 0, or you put a 0, it should be $20, and you put a 0, it's $200. That's an accident. Typing out LeBron James' name and the date and saying what it is not an accident. You did that on purpose. For whatever reason, I don't know, but that's not a mistake that your public service guy made, which is why I don't think the guy got fired. I think maybe that a whole other thing is just a ploy. So why would they do it? There's two reasons. I'll give you the lesser of the two. The lesser of the two is that they know he's signing, and they think it's going to be Monday because LeBron told them, I'm signing with you guys, but you know what? I'm such a media whore. I have such a, insecurity complex. I want to have people talking about this for 3-4 more days. So do me a favor. We'll do it next Monday. And they said, okay, well, we'll get everything prepared and fine. Well, you want to wait a week? Fine. Who cares, right? That would be one reason. I don't think that's the reason, though, even though that's plausible. I think the real reason is they know he's not coming. And because if you do something like this, and again, I don't think it's done by accident, you're risking alienating him, right? And James is such a, fragile state of mind right now. He's looking for a reason. If you really don't think he's picked his team yet, he's looking for a reason to go here and not go there. Why would you put this out? This is not going to entice him to come to Miami. He's not going to see that and say, oh, wow, boy, they really won me. No. The only thing he would see is that and get pissed off that you put out that he's going to Miami. So I don't think he is going to Miami. I think the Heat know that. So I think they put this out just to give him a little zinger. So when he makes his announcement that he's going to Cleveland, it would give fans that much more reason to hate LeBron versus hating the Miami Heat. Maybe if he doesn't go to Miami, the Miami Heat fan blames the organization, blames Pat Riley, for whatever reason. So they say, all right, let's blame LeBron. We'll throw it out there that he's coming, even though we know he's not. And we'll make LeBron look that much more the bad guy and have more reason to hate him, especially if he's going to go to an Eastern Conference team. That's what I think really happened. I could see the other one certainly being the case. Like I said, I'll go to you, Miami, but I got to wait till Monday. But I don't think that's it. I said all along, I think he's going to Cleveland. So this is just some little ploy. You know how these social media people are. They need to get hits. That's how they keep their job. They had so many hits assigning Giannis, and now they want to kind of keep that thing going. They have this little carrot dangling in front of their face with LeBron James. So let's just say he's coming here, even though we know he's not. What's the worst that can happen? We get a little free publicity. No big deal. And we'll make LeBron look like the fool because he's not coming here. So that's what I think. But I don't believe by any stretch of the imagination that this was an accident. You don't have accidents like that. You just don't. And listen, it takes 5 minutes to do that. It's not like it's a whole big project you got to prepare. It takes a day for this thing to develop. So, start working on the LeBron press conference. Why would you pick a date? You would have no idea when it was going to happen, right? So, yeah, I don't think that was by accident by any stretch. Soccer numbers have come out. So that's it for LeBron. We'll see when it really happens. Soccer numbers came out. Fox Sports says the final, Spain-Argentina, 38.937 million viewers. Peaked at over 51.5 million, which I could understand people tuning in and tuning out because it was boring. Easily sets the record for most watched English language soccer telecast. I guess Telemundo had a bigger one, I suppose. Telemundo's numbers, preliminary numbers for their Spanish language broadcast, 22.6 million. So, home run Red Sox, 6-2. Baltimore had scored 1. We got to sweat this one out, but still 6-2. So you combine the 38, nearly 39 million with English and the 22 million with Spanish, and you got over 60 million people. How about that? 60 million people watching. But you know what? I don't, I'm not a soccer fan, and I'm, impressed, I suppose. Those are, NFL Super Bowl numbers. They are. Not quite, but pretty close to it. Blow away NBA and Major League Baseball and certainly hockey. And I'm curious to know. I forget what the numbers were for the Olympic hockey, but I'm not surprised. Well, you had the perfect Final Four, right? I mean, you compare it to football. That's like having the Dallas Cowboys, the Kansas City Chiefs, the New York Giants, and maybe the LA Rams with the LA market or Chicago Bears. Bears probably would be a little bit more monsters of the Midway, old franchises. That's like having that in football and, college basketball. It'd be like having the Dookie Pukies in Kentucky and UCLA. And, hockey would be like having the Rangers and the Chicago Blackhawks maybe, and the Toronto Maple Leafs and Montreal Canadiens. You got the top 4 teams basically in the country in soccer. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. We'll see what happens from here on out, though. And I'm not a soccer guy, that, but I am a hockey guy. And I said the same thing about Olympic hockey. Numbers were phenomenal, through the roof. Everyone is talking hockey, blah, 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 blah. And the postseason was pretty good for hockey. In fact, the play was phenomenal. But the ratings were a little bit better, but they weren't anything like this. Just like the MLS won't be anything like this. It'll just go back to being soccer. Like hockey has basically gone back to being hockey. I think hockey's made a little bit more inroad than soccer has. That's for sure. I think hockey, this was a good year for hockey. The games were exciting. The postseason, the Olympics was a lot of fun. USA winning obviously helps. So I do think it picked up a little bit. If we could just get the Blackhawks and the Rangers, the LA Kings, some of these big market teams, historic market clubs to be good, that would help so much rather than the Tampa Bays, no offense, or the Carolinas or the Miami, Florida Panthers. Those are all great, but we need the staples if the staples were really good, we should have a draft. We really should. I've said this many, many times. I know it sounds goofy, dead serious about it. We should take all the superstar players and just put them on all the great teams. No, you know what, Connor McDavid, you're not staying up in Edmonton. You're not. You're going to the Rangers. Leon Draisaitl, you're not staying with Edmonton either. You're going to the Chicago Blackhawks or the Boston Bruins. Get those core market teams, and hockey would be good. But that said, is anyone paying any more attention to the MLS today than they did 2 months ago? No. Could you even name, honestly, little pop quiz, right? Could you name 4 MLS teams? Forget about players. Forget about coaches. Forget even about nicknames. Can you give me 4 cities that have soccer? The New York, the LA, can you? Probably not. Despite all the hoopla around the World Cup and the great ratings and this and that, if MLS was smart, and they're apparently not, I would have been flooding those. I know it cost a fortune, but you know what? It takes money to make money. I would have been flooding those soccer broadcasts with MLS promotions. I don't know who televises MLS games. The 4-letter network has some, and this was a Fox thing, but who cares? You don't even have to promote it to come watch us if it's on another network. Promote it to, hey, come watch the New York Cosmos versus the LA Galaxy, or the Portland Timber versus the give me another team. I don't even know. New England Marauders or whatever the hell they are, right? Revolutionaries, I think they are. do that, promote that. Do it like a 30-second just on MLS soccer. Just teach people, hey, there's more coming up. Don't drop soccer after the World Cup is done. I would have been spending my last dime doing that. I didn't see one. Now, I didn't watch that many. There were 104 games when everything was said and done. But I probably watched a good share of about 20. Not one commercial. Not one mention MLS, let alone commercial. You dropped the ball, fellas. You just dropped the ball. I mean, it's like the Arena Football League and the UFL starting 2 months after the Super Bowl rather than starting it the next week when people are jonesing on football. And, football's over. Oh, my God, what do I have? Well, you can watch the United States Football League. All right. I mean, it's goofy, but okay. Who's playing next week? Well, they're not playing next week. All right. Who's playing the week after? Well, they're not playing the week after either. When are they playing? Oh, 2 months later. 2 months. I'm done. I'm on vacation. I dropped football already. These people just, I don't get it, man. Just not smart. Just not smart. But you think you want to play soccer, huh? All right. Good for you. So it's got to be in Saudi Arabia in 2034. So it's in 2 soccer events from now. You want to play soccer? Here's where you're going to be playing it. Stop there. That's where they're going to be playing some of the games in this. I don't know how many story building that is. I mean, knowing a soccer field is 100 feet long, right? Or 100 yards long plus. That's basically what it is, over that. And that's on a 100-story building that high up in the air? No freaking way. No. You could literally give me a ticket for free, but I have to use it. I would not go. You could fly me over there, wouldn't go. You could put me up into the greatest hotel Saudi Arabia has. I'm not. If it's all predicated on me going in that goofy stadium, no way. No effing way. I mean, did you see that thing? I mean, look how high. Again, that's got to be, 100 stories high. How heavy that must be with all those people. I don't trust that. I don't trust that at all. Those are things I've never done. I'm older now. I'm even more wiser than I was before, which is hard to believe. But nope, not a chance in the world you would get me up into that facility. I mean, that is just as bonkers would be. No, probably take an hour just to get up there, to tell you the truth. I mean, with the elevators being as they are with those things, although those high stories, they have elevators that go from like 1 to 50, and then the others go from 50 to 100, and it goes from 1 to 50 just real quick. But it would still, like, no thanks. Not a chance in the world. Can't do it. So, couple things here, NFL. So Hard Knocks is coming up starting August 4th. Day after the trade deadline for baseball ends. And training camp is the Seattle Seagirls. So they got the Seahawks this year, World Series, Super Bowl champs. And, there's not a lot of storylines. I mean, I think there were more storylines last year bringing in Sam Darnold than there are this year. This year, it's Darnold's job, there's not really, it's the Seattle Seahawks, but they're all the same. They're okay. This Hard Knock stuff is peaked out. It's fun. It's interesting. I was saying on a podcast, it's nice to hear people talk behind the scenes. That's why we get into all these mic'd up things on the sidelines, just to hear these guys talking back and forth to each other. That little thrill is still there. But other than that, I mean, there's no controversy. There's nothing really. And it's the same plot. They grab hold of a rookie or a free agent walk-on. They make him out to be the nicest guy in the world. So you buy into his story. They all have stories. You buy into his story, and in the end, the guy gets cut, and you see him crying and this and that. Or maybe he makes the team, and you see him all thrilled. It's the same. It's the same thing over and over. You're not getting any juicy details about how Sam Darnold now has to show the NFL because I won a Super Bowl and everybody thought I was a bum or fighting between teammates, like no doubt. I mean, every time you turn on a training camp, right, there's always a fight going on. How come we never get that in these things? I mean, these guys hate each other. You got 100 guys trying to get on the football team. They're all battling each other. Every single day there's a fight going on, right? You never get any of that stuff. So they protect the shield, and it's fun. It's goofy, but yeah. So anyway, August 4th, 9:00 Eastern time, HBO is Seattle Seahawks. So this is just weird. Have you followed the Puka Nacua story? Rams wide receiver. So he's going out with this broad, and they're going at it apparently. And he apparently bites her. Okay, that's clearly a no-no, right? Got it. So she takes a picture of it. Is now suing him. I don't think he's facing charges, but they're suing him, and she's all upset, and rightfully so, right? So here's the weird thing. Again, this is on Polymarket, saying how the people are betting on this stuff. But the girl took a picture of herself in the bite marks. Have you seen the picture? Here it is. And initially, it's like, wow, that's pretty deep one, and wow. Hard for him to deny that. I mean, his teeth marks, that's better than any dental record I ever saw, right? I mean, it's right there. So what's the problem? The problem is it's in a circle. So what? Nobody bites in a circle. If you take a piece of bread or whatever, piece of pizza, and you bite down, your teeth aren't in a circle. Your teeth are, basically half circle. So how did this, I mean, this is perfectly symmetrical circle. Nobody bites in a circle, right? So unless he was completely on top of her, but I don't know how it's a circle. I really don't. Because the back of your mouth, there's no teeth. Last time I checked, unless this guy's super weird, you don't have teeth in the back of your mouth. The teeth end over here and they end over here. When you bite down, you're going to see a half circle on the lower half and the upper half, but they're both together. There's still nothing on the back end. So how would he get it to be a perfect symmetrical circle like that? Unless he was on one side, took a bite down with his upper mouth, went to the other side of her, and then took a bite down again with his lower mouth, because the upper mouth is different than the lower mouth, and have it perfectly aligned. Very weird. He's not denying it. He's basically saying it was just an accident. That's all. So I'm not doubting that this is really it, but it's just weird that you could take a bite and create that circle. It's just, he'd have to be on top of her, which I guess he was, and then bite down completely into her neck, take a clump, make sure the teeth are all aligned, and then pull away. She's not accusing him of rape or anything. It's just, some kinky session that got a little bit out of control, I guess. And then his agent or lawyer is saying, typical lawyer talk. He's innocent, and let our get our day in court, and this and that, and blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, you're not denying, initially they denied that he ever did anything, but that's before they found out she had a picture. Good for her. And taking the picture. So now it's now it was just an accident. Well, before it was you didn't do it. Now that we know you did do it, now it's just an accident. Which one is it? I don't know what's ultimately going to happen to him. I don't think, like I said, I don't think charges are going to be brought up, but he's going to have to pay a fine. He's going to have to pay her off. You'll probably settle this thing out of court, like I'm guessing she's wanting, and he's just going to have to, pardon the pun, bite the bullet, and then just pay her off, silence her, use $1 million. It is what it is. But that's that aspect of it. Now you have the NFL aspect of it. The NFL aspect of it is, well, you did something wrong. You made the Shield look bad, so we're going to have to suspend you. Would it be 2 games for a bite? Is it 4 games, 6 games? It's the first thing of the Rams season going up in smoke. Like, there's too many people hopping on the Rams bandwagon. I don't mind the Rams. I've learned to respect Matthew Stafford when I thought he was really just a goofball with the Detroit Lions. But he's got his Super Bowl and everything else. They're the number 1 choice on FanDuel, plus 550. And this is the next team is the Ravens at 11-1 and the Bills at 11-1. I mean, it's a big jump. They're like a heavy 2-1 favorite, really. So when the next odds are 2 higher, double them. So I don't, this is the first, I could see things falling apart. I could see Stafford getting hurt. I think Devontae Adams, his numbers, while he got a lot of touchdown passes last year, they threw him all in the red zone from all inside the 10-yard line. I think his days are numbered. Now you get Nacua, maybe suspended 2, 3, 4 games. I know you got Aaron Donald maybe coming back as well. Time him up with Myles Garrett. It looks like the greatest thing in the world, but it just looks too good to be true, right? So we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll look at their schedule. And it's a tough division, obviously, with Seattle being in there and San Francisco being in there. They do not deserve to be that much of an overwhelming favorite. I'll tell you that right now. So got to do that. We'll do our 3-league championship parlay, some other football notes. Aaron Rodgers in the news for all the good reasons. How about that? More coming up. And we got Joe Madden coming up in about a half hour on the Scott Wetzel Show. Fanstreamsports.com. Fanstreamsports.com. Keep it where it is. Be right back.
Hi, golfers. IndyCar Tim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything. Turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there.
Hey, folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Today's show is brought to you by Tomstown, a premier craft distillery based in Kansas City, Missouri. Discover their award-winning lineup, including double oaked bourbon, botanical gin, and double grain vodka, named the best craft vodka by the readers of USA Today. Available for online delivery in 40 states. Visit toms-town.com or their Kansas City distillery to explore more. Elevate your game with Tomstown, where history meets innovation. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hello, folks. Let's talk a little bit about turf life. What is turf life? It's pretty much if your life involves turf in any way, shape, or form, you live the turf life. Go ahead and brand yourself with the turf life. Maybe a back window decal, maybe a hat. You know where you can get those kinds of things to showcase that your life revolves around sports and or anything that involves sports. If it's a sports business or sports education or just your enjoyment of the outdoors, head over to turflifeclub.com. unapologetic.com. Become a turf head. Join the club today. You can do that by going to that said website that I just told you to go to. You can snag your window decal like I was talking about, or any of your other Turf Life accessories. Show everybody that you live the turf life, and we'll see you there over there at that turflifeclub.com.
Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505.
Orion Golf Management Solutions. Orion Management Solutions has tailored its service packages just like it tailors its approach to customers. Some owners need more supervision, while others need periodic assessment of their short-term and long-term strategies and programs. Orion can be called in to develop a business plan with the existing staff, or we can assist with the daily management of a facility or event. Either way, we make sure the client is satisfied and understands the direction the facility needs to go in order to achieve the owner's goals. Orion Management Solutions can help with owner assistance service solutions, daily course management, business plan development, monthly operations, or as-needed consulting services. Whatever your need, Orion Golf Management Solutions can help. Check out oriongolf.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back. It is the Scott Wetzel Show right here on FanStream Sports. Hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza, Monday through Friday, 2 to generally 3:30, 4 o'clock, depending on what's going on today. We'll go a little bit longer. Joe Madden's going to join us right around 3:30 or so Eastern time, so in about a half hour. We'll do some sports talk with her, a little football, a little hockey, a little NBA, WNBA plays for tonight as well. So make sure you stick around for that. Again, FanStreamSports.com. You go there for all the shows that we've done. Just hit the icon to the Scott Wetzel Show, and there they all are. You want to make some comments on our YouTube chat? Just hit that like button and subscribe button, as our good buddy Pete in the Bronx is as one of our LLs, or really LWs now, loyal listeners, LWs, loyal watchers. So, Pete, always good to have you. Hope you're feeling better, brother. I was kind of worried about you. I had not heard from you in a long, long time. He's back to the 3-letter network days, one of our regular callers. Wasn't sure, the COVID stuff. It's been a little while. So, Pete, good to have you on board again. That is for sure. So, reunion kind of in the air this week. So, don't know if you follow Aaron Rodgers or not, but he sent out an Instagram showing him and his family. So what? He hasn't really talked to his family in about 15 years, literally. So, for whatever reason, maybe it's marriage. Maybe it's just he's getting older. Maybe he knows this is his last year in the NFL, I would think anyway. And he just wants his family around him. But he showed some pictures of him and his mother and dad and father and even brother Luke that, again, he's been estranged with over the last 10, 15 years. So, listen, weird things happen, and you wouldn't think someone like Rodgers, who's got all the money in the fame in the world, no issues, right? What kind of issues can he possibly have? Right? But we all know he's a little weird, right? He's definitely a little strange. And when you say those things, sometimes you forget the real meaning. Like, yeah, he is, Scott. He's a little weird. He's going up in the mountains, living in a cave by himself for 3 days with no light, no anything, right? I mean, that's weird. All his takes on the COVID stuff, maybe some were turned out to be true, but it's weird. So it probably doesn't take a whole lot for him to alienate his family. Whether they're trying to make him normal, listen, anyone who's got a family, I don't know somebody who does not have a friend or a family relative that's not speaking with another person. It's just every single family now. It's not like the 1970s and 80s. We're all sitting around watching the Waltons and Little House on the Prairie at night. No, these people are coming and going, and they got bills and responsibilities and girlfriends and this and that, social media. So that there's nothing but division. And then you got all the political stuff going on, right? So it doesn't take a lot. Money doesn't solve completely everything, most things, but I guess not everything. But, in the documentary series, he said he grew up in a very white, well, he is white, dogmatic church that just didn't really serve me. Rigid household dynamic, and said he slowly uncoupled from that in high school. So this is like before. We've seen the Kobe Bryants of the world be connected to money, when he wasn't talking to his family, God rest his soul. But this stuff with Rodgers, this was like before he was any, great superstar player. Maybe in high school he was good and maybe they knew he was going to go to college, but nothing like, okay, I've struck it rich and we want your money, son. No, it's not that. He was just kind of aloof, from the get-go. So when you see that stuff, you think, not everyone has it perfect. Not even the great players with all the money. So anyway, he sent out a picture. So hopefully they're getting back if you're into that. Good for Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Anything that makes him happy, I guess, would be good for the team. So we put together, God rest his soul, me and Dave Sherapan started this a couple of years ago. We take 3 sports, or 3 events really, and we take 3 teams or players in those events and put them in championship parlays. And the odds really, go up because this is not like a baseball game where you're picking an underdog. No matter what the sport, generally speaking, you're getting 4, 5, 6 to 1 odds. So if you actually hit those, you're going to hit, for $10, you win yourself about $5,000, $6,000, believe it or not. So Dave and I did it, and we actually hit one. I shouldn't be surprised, but we did hit one, and we've been doing it ever since. We hit another one in the college basketball season. Who did we have? We had college basketball with Michigan winning. We had hockey with Carolina winning. It wasn't the NBA one. There was another one. I forget what sport it was that we actually hit. So we've hit a couple of these, point being. So we haven't hit them all. We would have hit this latest one, but we lost that at Wimbledon on the women's side. So we're limited. We'll do one for football when football season gets a little bit closer, but I try and kind of keep it close to the best here. So we have the U.S. Open coming up next month, right? And we got the WNBA championship playoffs next month starting as well. So we'll use those. We'll start in the WNBA, and I'll ask Joe this when she comes on here. Pick 3 teams, right? We try and do 3, 3, and 3. So if I was going to pick 3 teams to win the WNBA championship, there's a lot of, there's balance in the WNBA this year, unlike in other years. But I'll take the Aces, Las Vegas Aces, because they are the defending champs, 2-time defending champs. And as much as it's hard to, win 3 years in a row, we'll take them just the same. Not going to take the Liberty. They got some flaws. Not going to take Minnesota. They always seem to find a way to lose. I will take Golden State at plus 850. I like that Valkyries team. They play defense. One of the best, if not the best defensive team in the NBA. Defense travels. Defense wins in playoffs. Give me Golden State at plus 850. And I'll take a flyer on Indiana. 15 to 1. If they're going to be healthy, as I think they will be at the end of the year, which is, a good month now from now. So you got plenty of time. They were a tough out last year without Caitlin Clark. They'll be just as tough and out this year, I think, with her. And you want to give me 15 to 1 odds with her and that team, which is, tied for first place and second place in the Eastern Conference. I'll take that at 15 to 1. So Las Vegas plus 370, Golden State plus 850, Indiana 15 to 1. All right, Wimbledon, men's tennis. We're going to break our rule here. Normally we do 3, but it's just not worth it. There's not 3 guys capable of winning. There's 2. Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. Sinner is minus 150, which is really pretty weak. But all right, we'll take it. Normally it's plus odds. Alcaraz is plus 195. You could throw the Joker in there at 13-1. Zverev is 11-1. Taylor Fritz 19. Medvedev 22-1, and so on down the line. But realistically, it would take a minor miracle for Sinner or Alcaraz not to win. I give a chance of that happening on clay, because clay is so goofy and just weird, but not on a hardcore surface like the U.S. Open. The better players do prevail way, way, way more times than not at the Open because it's a hard court. So there's just no reason. You know, you're going to go from 18 different combinations to 27 if you add a third player. It's just not worth it. Joker had the greatest opportunity in the world to win the French Open. No Alcaraz. Sinner quit, and he still didn't win. Had a great opportunity to win Wimbledon. No Alcaraz. Faced Sinner in the final. Got blitzed in straight sets. 6-4, 6-4, 6-4. So he's not winning any more majors, barring these two guys, not competing for whatever reason. Which you always got to worry about with Sinner, the way he quits. So we'll keep it at 2, Sinner and Alcaraz. The toughie, like it was at Wimbledon, the women. Women's tennis is so balanced. There's really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 or 10 that realistically could win this without really? Oh my God. So you got to whittle it down to 3. Now you could go 4 and use that extra one we had with the men. I didn't think about that until just now, but you got to pick your poison. So I'm not going to use Sabalenka. She's the favorite at plus 180. I'm not going to use Rybakina. Used to be called Rybakina, but it's now Rybakina at plus 440. Every time I bet on this Swiatek broad, she loses. So I'm not going to bet on her. I'll go with Coco Gauff, whose odds jumped to 750 today. 600 yesterday, 6-1, plus 7.5 today. I'll go with Osaka, whose odds jumped to 14-1. It was 13-1 yesterday. And I'll go with, it's the U.S. Open, so I'll throw a long shot on Madison Keys at 35-1. She was 25-1 yesterday. So I'll pick 3 Americans, although Osaka was actually born in Japan, but she lived, here. I don't want to see her win. It's really kind of more of a black cloud play on her. So if she does win, at least we're going to benefit. I'll go with those 3. Right? You could throw the 3 I mentioned. You could throw Jessica Pegula in there. Anisimova, you could throw in there. I had her at Wimbledon. She failed me. And Dreva, you could throw in there at 12-1. I mean, there are a couple of them. Women's tennis is so balanced. It really is. So, but we'll stick to those 3: Gauff, Osaka, and Madison Keys. Now $10. You could do obviously whatever you want, but we'll just use the $10 figure, right? So if you put the $10 on the round robin, 18 different combinations, and that's $180, right? The least, if all 3 favorites won, Las Vegas at plus 370, Sinner at minus 150, Coco Gauff at plus 750. If they all came through, that $10 parlay would pay $656. Not bad for $10, although you're risking 180. I'll take that, but that's with all 3 favorites. Let's say all 3 biggest underdogs win. Indiana at 15-1, the Fever. Alcaraz at plus 195. And then Madison Keys at 35-1. If that combination comes in, your $10 bet will pay, survey says, $16,982. So we go from $550 basically to $17,000. How about if the middle ones hit? All right, we'll take out Madison Keys, and how about Osaka winning at 14-1? Possibility. We'll keep Alcaraz at plus 195. That easily could happen. And then we'll put Golden State at plus 850, the middle one in the WNBA. That parlay pays $4,200. So, well, that's for a $10, $180 investment, not bad, right? Let's pick the ones that we think are going to win. I think Indiana's got a decent shot, but I'll go no. Yeah, I'll take Indiana. You know what? Golden State I like a lot, but they're inexperienced. Only second year in the league, right? So I don't know. They're really going to win a championship. Although Las Vegas, the Golden Knights did, so they could. But I'll go with Indiana at 15-1. I'll take Sinner. I'll lower. I'll take the lesser of the two guys on tennis, and then I think even even Coco Gauff, who she never wins, but even then we'll take Gauff at $750. That $10 parlay pays, usually stays up there, $2,250. So if this hits, you're going to make some money. You're going to make some money. The problem is that when do the WNBA playoffs start? I know it's like late. They pushed it back. They added 4 more games this year. When do let's see if the AI can figure this out. When do the WNBA playoffs start? 2026. Like late August? Ooh, September. Wow. Is that long? Holy fudge. September 27th they start. All right. So that's all right. It's kind of better that they're not all at the same. I thought they were all going to be at the same time. So it's it's obviously a lot more difficult to hedge, but this actually works out well. So if we can hit our tennis ones, and then we have another month or so, tennis tournament starts right around September 1st. So that goes to the middle of September. So it kind of, it's not that far off. So, or late August it begins. So if we can hit our 2 tennis ones, then we can hedge a little bit with our WNBA ones. And then we could add a Minnesota or New York Liberty on a separate bet if you want to. Especially, you imagine if we got Keys never wins. Let's say Osaka. If we got Osaka, and certainly Alcaraz could certainly win in a parlay. Wow, that would be and then that itself would pay $400. But then we would have the 3 other teams in the WNBA, and then we could add even if those 2 hit. And Golden State or even Las Vegas, we'll say. Las Vegas were to win, then we're still looking at a nice little fat payoff of over $2,000. Then you can spend $200 of that and bet on the WNBA Liberty to win, and then another $200 on that and bet on the Lynx if you want to win. So, all right, so we'll get the tennis out of the way. Simple as that. Yes, a little U.S. Open, as Pete says. Pete's a big tennis guy. I do remember that from the days at the 3-Letter Network. So, a little round robin. Listen, we use $10. You want to put $5 on it. You want to put a couple dollars on it. But there's 18 combinations. So just multiply whatever you're doing, 18 combinations, and you go from there. If you want to, what I do suggest also in the world of hedging and different things and offering buyouts, if you use $10, I would do 5 and then do 5 twice. Because then maybe you could, when they offer you a cash out, you could cash out but still have another $5 bet still alive. That is a possibility. So, but I'll post that on the website, oppositepicks.com, on the podcast pools page, our 3-team championship parlay. Not bad. Every week I want to touch on the NFL. And then we did it earlier this week with the quarterback battles, right? So these are, I got a list of teams that are intriguing to me that I'm not necessarily fans of, but just I am curious to see how things turn out. They're straddle teams. Are they going to be good? Are they going to be bad? Are they going to build on what they did last year? Or are they going to not be, on what they did last year? So one of them is, I got 3. New Orleans Saints. I am curious to see. The Shuck dude came in. No one really thought much of him. Older guy, right? Yeah, he stinks, whatever. Got him in a Tyler. We got him third round, something like that, right? And got off to a bad start, did the Saints, typical Saints, right? But then they finish up. They put him in the starting lineup after they got rid of the other kid from South Carolina there. And they rattled off, 5 wins in their last 6 games, something like that. And, all of a sudden people are respecting Shuck, and they're respecting the Saints team. They have 4 out of the last 5. They lost to the Falcons. But they had beaten Tampa Bay on the road, Carolina, the Jets, Tennessee. Nothing great, but still, they were more than capable of losing those games. So this year, are they ready to take that next step? Or are they going to go forward? Because their over-under win total is right around 6.5 or so. FanDuel doesn't have posted up for some reason. Let me go to DraftKings and see if I can find them there real quickly. FanDuel used to have them up, but for whatever reason, they didn't. So, football. Then we go to college football. Nope, we want NFL. And we need win totals. They're a little more busier, the DraftKings website versus FanDuel. It's one of the things I do like about FanDuel. It's pretty simple. I'm not a DraftKings guy, although I certainly might be. There we go. Win totals. Futures. You got to hit 5,000 icons. Here we go. Advanced player wins. Boom. Don't have to go too far. All right. So New Orleans Saints win total, according to DraftKings, 7.5. That's a pretty good jump. That's I figured it'd be around. I was hoping around 6.5, 7.5. So that means they got to go 8 and 9. Are they going to be a 500 football team? That's take the next step. Are they going to take the next step? They have a schedule. Their home games not too bad. Las Vegas is on there, winnable. Minnesota, obviously the division games. Cleveland winnable. Green Bay be tough. Arizona winnable. Their schedule's not that bad. The road games at Detroit, you'll lose. At Baltimore, you'll lose. Giants winnable. Bears, you'll probably lose. Bengals, you'll probably lose, although it's the Bungles. And then your division games. So I'll look at it a little more close. And they got a game over in Europe against Pittsburgh Steelers. But more importantly, just they're one of those teams where, maybe, just maybe, they'll take that next step. I don't think I would bet over 7.5. I got to see a little something from them versus just building on what they had last year. So that's curious team number 1. Curious team number 2 for me is Washington. 2 years ago, Jaden Daniels comes in, surprises everybody. Team goes to the playoffs. If you remember, beat the Detroit Lions in Detroit. So they had a really good run. And then last year, things fell apart. Daniels got hurt and everything. This year, are we going to get the team from last year or are we going to get the team from 2 years ago? DraftKings, I'm guessing 9.5 would be the over-under. Wow, 7.5 only? Ooh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I must say, I do like that. I'm not even looking at their schedule, and I like that. Tough division. All right, Philadelphia pretty good. Dallas be pretty good. Giants, they got Seattle, but they got Indianapolis at San Fran, or home against the Rams. Oof. Cincinnati, yikes. Arizona, though. Tennessee, though. Houston, Atlanta, at Minnesota, at Jacksonville, and then Dallas again. It's not an easy schedule. I will say that. But, they play the NFC West. That's the problem. And that NFC West, Rams, Seattle, San Francisco, and Arizona, obviously. At least they got the Arizona game on the road, where if you're a good team, you win those games on the road. You don't need to waste a home game against Arizona. And then you get the Rams and Seattle at home, and hopefully you can win one of those, whereas on the road you probably wouldn't have. But I do like over 7.5 Washington. I'm a Jaden Daniels guy. I really am. So I think that comes through. So we got one more. I'll do that on the other side. We got Joe Madden standing by as well. We'll get some thoughts out of her as we do a little baseball, WNBA tonight, some football thoughts, and as well. That's coming up next right here on the Scott Wetzel Show on FanStream Sports.
Hi, golfers. IndyCar Tim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there.
Hey folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Today's show is brought to you by Tomstown, a premier craft distillery based in Kansas City, Missouri. Discover their award-winning lineup, including double oaked bourbon, botanical gin, and double grain vodka, named the best craft vodka by the readers of USA Today. Available for online delivery in 40 states. Visit toms-town.com or their Kansas City distillery to explore more. Elevate your game with Tomstown, where history meets innovation. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hello, folks. Let's talk a little bit about turf life. What is turf life? It's pretty much if your life involves turf in any way, shape, or form, you live the turf life. Go ahead and brand yourself with the turf life. Maybe a back window decal, maybe a hat. You know where you can get those kinds of things? To showcase that your life revolves around sports and or anything that involves sports. If it's a sports business or sports education or just your enjoyment of the outdoors, head over to turflifeclub.com. Become a turf head. Join the club today. You can do that by going to that said website that I just told you to go to. You can snag your window decal like I was talking about, or any of your other turf life accessories. Show everybody that you live the turf life, and we'll see you there over there at that turflifeclub.com.
Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505.
Orion Golf Management Solutions. Orion Management Solutions has tailored its service packages just like it tailors its approach to customers. Some owners need more supervision, while others need periodic assessment of their short-term and long-term strategies and programs. Orion can be called in to develop a business plan with the existing staff, or we can assist with the daily management of a facility or event. Either way, we make sure the client is satisfied and understands the direction the facility needs to go in order to achieve the owner's goals. Orion Management Solutions can help with owner assistance service solutions, daily course management, business plan development, monthly operations, or as-needed consulting services. Whatever your need, Orion Golf Management Solutions can help. Check out oriongolf.com.
Let's go! Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back. It is the Scott Wetzel Show on this Wednesday afternoon, a little bit past 3:30 Eastern time. Here talking some sports as we always do Monday through Friday. 2 to right around 4 p.m. or so Eastern time. Let's welcome in former partner of mine over at the Sports Grid, and now she's out on her own. Cup of Joe, Miss Joe Madden. What's going on, Joe? Long time no see. How are you, hon?
It has been way too long. Let's say that first. And two, I'm sweating out the Yankees right now. Are you serious? It's the top of the ninth. The Pirates have 2 on. I don't like this feeling right now, Scott.
Not good. Now, tell me you bet the Red Sox today, I hope. Did you bet the Bo Sox?
Yeah, of course I took the Red Sox. They're up by 3. Can they hold it? I hope so.
Yeah, definitely. Well, because you know why the Red Sox, right? One of my favorite little sayings is winners bet with streaks, losers bet against streaks. So you got to keep on betting. They win today, you got to bet them in the night game later on tonight as well.
Every single time I see a team rolling this hot, just like the Marlins in the opposite direction, I think exactly what you just said. We spent way too many years sitting side by side like this.
I know. The good old days, right? The good old days. When you start repeating me or I finish your lines, and then you know really it's been nice. So
it's been
World Cup. Yeah, let me start there real quick. Was soccer big up there? Were you guys following it closely? I mean, I know you had some games up there, but it was big here in the States. How big was it, if at all, in Canada?
It was insane here in Canada, and there's actually talks that we're seeing the general public enjoying soccer more than ice hockey, which just blows my mind, Scott. It's looking like it's just the thing here for everyone up here in Canada. Everyone's buying in for sure.
Wow. Was there a favorite country that they were rooting for? I mean, obviously outside of Canada, was once Canada was eliminated, was there a favorite country or just kind of spread out?
It was really spread out. You really saw a lot of Spain jerseys, a lot of Argentina jerseys, of course. Even before going into the finals there, you did see that population, the fans really rooting for them. But like before, when Canada was in, everyone, it seemed, had a Canada jersey on.
Wow. What did you think of the offseason with the hockey stuff? Any moves that surprised you or made you think differently heading into this upcoming season?
Well, first, we got Babcock up in Edmonton. Is he going to be able to control Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl? Because they want to buy in. They want a hard, coach. But are they going to buy in week 1, week 2, week 3? Like, at what point is he going to break them? Because we know Babcock's going to come out and give them heck, Scott. I'm not sure I'm sold on that coaching predicament. I think anyone they have in Edmonton, Connor McDavid rules the roost.
Yeah. I got a conspiracy with that, Joe. And you know me, I love conspiracies, right? I think McDavid gave the okay to bringing in Babcock because he knew he was leaving. And if they brought in a yes guy or kept the previous coach, then when McDavid leaves, McDavid's the bad guy. You bring in a knucklehead and things fall apart. Now that just eases McDavid's path out of town by just saying, this is just too crazy, and who's going to blame me for all this mess, right? So it's kind of, I do believe that. I mean, I think it would be hard for him just to leave, when they're doing everything for him, bringing in coaches, firing coaches, all for him. He had to bring in someone that management wanted, bring in whoever the hell you want, know that the guy's not going to do well because he knows that the temperament of his teammates, and then that would just allow him to leave next year. What do you think?
You know what? I hope this is exactly how it's going to play out, Scott. I love a good conspiracy, and I want nothing more than to see Connor McDavid out of Edmonton. As a Calgary Flames fan, I want him gone. I don't care where he goes. He can go to Toronto. Don't go to Vegas. Don't go to the LA Kings, but just move on. Maybe, go to Toronto. That would be a great place for him. And then talk about force, Scott. Can you believe Brady and Matthew Tkachuk playing together for the Florida Panthers? I'm blown away by that one.
I mean, how good is Florida going to be? And I thought they were going to end up trading for what's his face from Winnipeg, but that didn't ever go down. But still, how good are the Florida Panthers going to be next year?
Yeah, they're going to be absolutely outstanding. We saw Matthew and Brady play in the Olympics together. We've seen them on Team USA and that force and that drive that they play. This really gives Brady Tkachuk the opportunity to be able to win a Stanley Cup just like his brother. I'm glad he's not staying in Ottawa, and I feel for Ottawa fans because he really was the face of that franchise. But I tell you, the Florida Panthers, I don't know who's going to stop them. They're going to be unstoppable. We know last season, yeah, they didn't make the playoffs, but they dealt with so many injuries out there. It was just hard for the Florida Panthers. And I think they make a run this upcoming season.
Yeah, just having those extra 2 months off is going to help them also. You know, they lost the battle last year, but won the war as far as being that much closer to another title. Were you surprised Carolina won? I didn't think they were going to beat Vegas. I thought Vegas was going to prevail.
You know, I was disappointed, right? Because you had Carolina coming out of the Metro. I think they had the easiest path, right? They took on the Ottawa Senators. They swept it there. Then they swept the Philadelphia Flyers. And a lot of people didn't expect the Senators or the Flyers to be able to make it there to the playoffs. And then they took on Montreal, and the lights were just too bright for the Montreal Canadiens. That was an absolute heartbreaker for me, Scott, because I did think Montreal had all of the talent there, just too young. And there's no denying, like, I love the playmakers on Carolina, but for me, I just didn't think they'd get past the Western Conference either. So with what they're able to do versus Vegas, you know, you had Mitch Marner so solid in the other series out there, just kind of disappear versus Carolina. Mm-hmm. And then their goaltending really came to life. So I was shocked that Carolina took it, as kind of disappointed as well.
Mm-hmm. I hate to bring it up, but it's baseball season. What in the world is going on with your last place Toronto Blue Jays, Jay? They were an out or two away from winning the World Series last year, and now they're in last place.
I'm crying. I am seriously crying. I don't know what's happened. You know, you've got the hangover from last year from the World Series. You know, they lost in such disappointing fashion. Has this team given up? Because I tell you, they don't look like themselves. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was saying, okay, it's all right. We're sitting kind of in the same spot. We just got to heat up. We got to get hot. But this is looking awful. Look at us at home, 25-29 at home on the season. Away, not much better, 21-26. They're leaving everyone out there on base. And this was the same struggle that we've talked about year in and year out with the Toronto Blue Jays. They get those runners out there. They leave them stranded, and then we have those pitching issues. So unless Vladdy all of a sudden gets hot out there, I just don't see the Blue Jays making the postseason.
American League is so bad. You know, my Red Sox are on fire. They're as we talked earlier, they're winning again today. It was a 6-3 top of the 8th. Who do you think's going to come out of the American League?
You know what? This is an interesting one because we look at the Yankees and we look at some of the struggles that they have had, the struggles they've been able to overcome without Aaron Judge. I still think it would be, for me, either the Boston Red Sox or the Tampa Bay Rays. The Yankees, I just don't trust that much, right? I think they have every opportunity coming out of the East there. We have the Chicago White Sox, which shocks me, sitting at the top of the Central American League. Scott, did they really make your card here to be sitting at this position right now in the season, 53-47? I didn't think they would be.
No, I didn't think they have 53 wins all year, let alone on July 22nd. I mean, I knew that division is bad, right? But I thought either Cleveland or Kansas City, and then Kansas City's in last place. So, but the White Sox, no. I just out of all the surprises for me, Joe, whether it's positive or negative, with Mets being so bad, Toronto being so bad, Cincinnati I thought was going to be halfway decent being bad, but nothing to me tops Chicago. Like, if you would have put the top surprises, 8 surprises in baseball, that would be number one. No way in the world did I say to myself, this team could be in first place at the end of July, but they are. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've just dominated at home. And that's where we've seen that for us, right? 31-17 at home. And then when we look at the Seattle Mariners, I do think they're just sitting at 500 right now in the West for the American League. I think the Seattle Mariners are going to be a top contender there. You look at their pitching, their bats just have to come alive a little bit more. But I do think they have the pitching depth there to make a run, Scott.
NBA, there's really 2 stories. We'll start with the local one for you, Toronto, the Kawhi Leonard trade, which happened but didn't happen and is going to happen, but they're not sure if it really will, depending on what happens with Kawhi and the league and the contract he signed with the Clippers. What's the prevailing thought from the Raptor fan about Kawhi Leonard coming back?
we kind of thought it was too good to be true, and that's what it's showing us right now,
Yeah.
right? I think he's stuck in a situation where he can't come back here to Toronto, at least for the time being. And I do think they'll make another push for him if that is the case, but it's dragging out too long, Scott. I do think we'll probably not see him up here in Toronto. We'll see him again with the Clippers next season.
Yeah. Where do you think LeBron's going to end up?
Oh, man. We'll find out in like 365 days, right?
Yeah. Day before the start of the season.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. So we're seeing all those things that the Miami Heat leaked it, or the Miami Heat just looking for a little press in their direction, maybe, right? There's so many question marks. LeBron's happy to sit back and be the center of attention, right? He's 41 years old, and he's the center of attention right now, other than Wemby. And that's exactly where he wants to be. So he's going to drag this out as long as he can. We'll probably roll into August 22nd and still be saying, where's LeBron going to go?
Yeah, I said the same thing. Great minds think alike. Yeah, we did. We worked together. It's amazing. He just the fact when Adam Silver last week, was it, or beginning of this week, whatever it was, over the weekend, said that the NBA is waiting for LeBron to make his decision, Joe, so they can do the TV schedule. That just was just like, just glory for LeBron. It's like, the whole NBA is waiting for me. Now I'm going to take another couple of days. He's just eating this stuff up, like you said. So. At this point, who cares? You got some any baseball or WNBA winners for us before you leave?
Yeah, most definitely baseball. Like I said, I'm going to fight the Miami Marlins later tonight. I just don't trust them. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game, but you've got Miami losing their last 9 and Lambert coming out here for the Houston Astros, who I do think will be able to limit the bats of the Miami Marlins. They're home on Friday versus the Padres, and they need to get home here. They're just struggling. So I got the Houston Astros at -116. I do think that one stays under the total of 8.5, though. And then between the Tigers and the Cubs, it's interesting because the Cubs are really able to dominate series. And we know we've got a rubber match here. Colin Rea coming out for them. I don't know how much I can trust him, Scott. He does allow some bad hits, but you look at the Cubs over their last 10 series, they've gone 8-1-1. So that's something I don't want to step in front of. I'm going to take the Detroit Tigers in the first 5 innings. I got that at +100. And then I want to come back in on a live bet here of the Chicago Cubs, because I think they'll get back and end up taking the series at the end of the day. And then I'm hoping we'll get plus money if the Tigers can just go up by a couple runs in the first 5.
All right. I know you got a full slate of WNBA, but what are your are you signing on Caitlin Clark or you're an anti-Caitlin Clark girl?
Okay, we've got to sign in to Caitlin Clark tonight, especially because she was just announced for the cover of the 2K27 Deluxe Edition. We love storylines, Scott. You taught me this about storylines, right? There's a reason we worked together, 3 years? She's averaging 20.7 points per game, taken on the Sun tonight. I think this is a fast-paced game. I took her over the 18.5 points, but I sprinkled up. I laddered up 30-plus points, plus 880. If it hits today, I'm gonna be laughing. It's gonna be a good one.
You'll be stopping at Starbucks. You're still going to Starbucks, I'm sure, right? Yeah. Spending your $15 for a cup of coffee. Out of all the things, I couldn't get you to stop doing that. It's amazing. I'm still amazed with people spending $15 for a pack of cigarettes and $15 or so for a cup of coffee. I can't. My daughters do it. The same thing. I get frustrated. So
it's a girl thing.
Yeah,
it's a female thing. We like our coffee given to us. If I had a man bringing it to me at home, maybe, Scott, then I just wouldn't go to Starbucks.
Yeah, that's what you need. There you go. I know you got a ton of more plays, Joe. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me across all social media at Joe Madden Sports, as well as at sippin.com, my new website.
Cool. Great job. Joe, as always, a pleasure, man. Do appreciate it. Have some fun. Good luck with the plays, and definitely do it again soon.
Thank you, Scott. All the best.
All right. Thanks, Joe. There you go. A little bit from Joe Madden. She's a good girl. I like her. A good woman. A good girl. You know what I mean. A good person. Yeah, exactly. 6-3 Red Sox win. She does have at Joe Madden Sports. That's the easiest way to find all the other things that she does. At Joe Madden Sports on Twitter/X. So a lot of afternoon baseball. She was riding at the Pittsburgh Stanky game. That's going to extra innings, tied at 3. Red Sox heading to the top of the 9th, leading Baltimore 6-3. This could be 15 straight wins. How about that for the Red Sox? Wow. Brewers leading the Mets 3-2, bottom of the 5th. I got a little nugget on the Royals. Giants stink, but the Giants are actually leading 3-2, bottom of the 7th. Nationals and Rockies just underway, no score. Same thing, Athletics and Diamondbacks, and Cincinnati and the Seattle Mariners. So, and I got the Cardinals and the Angels starting in about 10 minutes or so. Do like the Dodgers tonight a lot. You know, one of our favorite whipping boys has been Aaron Nola. He's all but done. 3-7, ERA close to 6. You know, if he didn't have a contract and if they weren't so pitching star Philadelphia, that's a team. Come trade deadline, you know, they got two monsters, you know, the top two guys, Wheeler and Sanchez, but they need another arm. They really do. So I like the Dodgers laying $1.25 a lot. That starts at 6:40 Eastern time. I'm going to play the Red Sox. Keep playing them tonight. I like the first game pitching matchup a lot. I would have played them normally. Second game, the Red Sox haven't announced who they're starting. Bradish is going for Baltimore, but man, take some of your winnings and at least put some of it on the Red Sox, who figured to be close to around minus 140 or so. They play later on tonight. And then Tampa Bay's going for the sweep of Toronto. Boy, the Blue Jays. Rays were playing lousy baseball, and they went in there and they've taken the first 2 games of this 3-game series. A Toronto team, man, it's just not happening, right? And then Astros taking on the Marlins, right? If you like to play streaks, as I do, Marlins have lost 8 straight. You might as well take Houston, even though Alcantara's on the hill, but that's okay. You give me Houston and basically pick them. So we like the Astros. We like the Red Sox game number 2, in addition to them this first game. And then we like Tampa Bay. And the Dodgers, those 4. So, yeah, it should be pretty good. And then WNBA tonight. I do like the under in the Fever game. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. The Fever games at home can be, but the Connecticut Sun are so bad that getting to 180 points, that's a lot of points. You know, even if Indiana scored 100, that still means that Connecticut's got to score 80, and I just don't think that's happening. So I like the under. Out of all the games, a lot of games tonight in the WNBA, under 178.5, Indiana and Connecticut would be the play. So good job by all the folks on the Twitter feed here. I know we got some here from Pete in the Bronx, who gave me a bunch of overs in football. Cowboys over, Dolphins over. I don't know about that, Pete. He's a fellow Dolphin fan. Raiders over, Steelers over, Falcons over, Panthers over. All overs. I like some of those, Pete, but I like the Dallas one. I don't like the Dolphin one, even at 4.5. I don't like the Raiders one, even at 5.5. I like the Steelers. I like the Falcons a lot. Panthers, if you can get it at 6.5, I would like that better. It's amazing. Panthers are 6.5, and New Orleans we saw was 7.5. I'm a little surprised about that. So, but as we inch closer to the season, we'll go over plenty. Yeah, every day we'll throw some NFL nugget at you. We're close enough now. Camps are opening up. We'll throw something at you, whether it's the quarterback battles yesterday or, some of the over-unders we'll take a peek at today or, in future days. And then we'll explain how we're going to do our system there of our survivor pool, where you don't have to go to Vegas. You don't have to put, $1,000 down. You don't have to pay a proxy. You could just do it yourself. Believe it or not, you could start with whether it's 100 or 1,000. And I'll explain how you can build it up to $1 million without leaving your home and with the ability to pick the team more than once. The way we do it is a lot better than the way they do it in Vegas. So we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. We'll see. So, but definitely within the next week or so. So enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, folks. Do appreciate everyone. Go to the website, fanstreamsports.com. That's fanstreamsports.com. We list all our shows. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, please, and the like button. Do appreciate that if you can do that. And we'll do it all again tomorrow. Every day, 2 o'clock Eastern time, Monday through Friday, right here on FanStream. Have a good Wednesday, and good luck with the plays tonight.